Hey VC, how you doing? It's Jonathan, your cheap and cheerful record collector. Hope everybody's doing well today. Haven't had a video in about a month or so. Not that I haven't been buying and collecting records. I have. I just haven't had the wherewithal to sit down and make a video. So I got a bunch of records today to go through, all jazz albums. I've been listening to more and more jazz more and more of the time. I just realized I enjoy that more than almost any other form of music at the moment. And that's what I've been doing. So the other day I got a call from a good friend who scored an amazing selection of jazz albums. And I went over to his place and I was like, blew my mind. We made some deals and I walked away with some stuff I'm real happy with. We did a trade and I think everyone was happy. So that's really the main thing with the trade, is that everybody walks away happy. I think the first four albums I'm going to show are all from that trade. They are all first pressings. I think they're all mono, and they're all near mint. It's amazing. Anyway, first record I got was Jimmy Heath, On the Trail, with Wynton Kelly, Kenny Burrell, Paul Chambers, Al Heath, a lot of the guys who were in the Miles Davis kind of blues sessions. This is on Riverside mono. There's the Riverside label. I never saw that particular label before in Riverside, just a plain turquoise label with silver lettering. But sounds fantastic. Love this record a lot. Some great stuff on here. I should have the date on it, but I don't. I'm going to say the mid-60s. Jimmy Heath. A great album. Really happy to have that. Next one is, I also picked up from the same guy, is an album called Boss Tenors with Albert Ammons and Sonny Stitt. This I know is Chicago 1961. Also had played basically a live album. The two of them going up against each other and just trying to cut each other out is just fantastic. Gene on tenor sax, Sonny of course on tenor and alto sax. John Huston on piano, Charles Williams on bass, and George Brown on drums. As I recorded August 1961 on Verve, typical Verve label. But what a great album! I mean, this just hops. It's great. I guess they played together in a band. They used to have cutting sessions all the time. So this is going back to that era, and love it. Great stuff. Happy to have it. The next one is actually what's playing in the background, and that's Solo Monk. He had a number of Monk albums. I have a lot, but I did not have this one. And again, it's an original mono pressing, minty clean. So I should have done more research. I don't have the date on this, but again, I'm saying mid-60s. Has Ruby My Dear, Monk's Point, I Surrender Dear, Sweet and Lovely, These Foolish Things Remind Me of You, etc., etc. My favorite jazz artist of all time, Thelonious Monk. And the last one I got from him, which I'll tell you about, is Freddie Roach, Good Move. And this is with Blue Mitchell on trumpet, Hank Mobley on sax, Eddie Wright on guitar, and Clarence Johnson on drums. This again is a first pressing mono blue note. Worth some money. And I didn't realize it because I'm not that versed in Freddie Roach. I'm not an organ fan. I don't appreciate jazz organ. I don't like Jimmy Smith. It's just, I know they're great, blah, blah, blah. It's not for me. So I got home, I put it on, and then I realized that it's basically an organ-driven album. I talked to my buddy, I said, would you take it back? He was, sure, no problem. So I'm going to give this back to him, we'll trade for something else. I'll let you know what else I get for it. Expensive record. Everyone seems to love it, but it's not for me. Everybody can't like everything. Next record I'm going to show is the newest release I got from Vinyl Me Please, and it's a Dave Brubeck, and this is the Jazz Impressions of Japan. That's why it's hard to say. It's a Vinyl Me Please classic there. I guess this was recorded in, I guess they toured Japan in '62. And this is Paul Desmond, Eugene Wright, and Joe Morello on drums. I guess they toured Japan in '62, and this album came out in '64. No, sorry, they recorded in '64. Tour of Japan, spring of 1964. So this came out after that. Sounds fantastic. I must say that a couple of the tunes, Tokyo Traffic in particular, is a little bit corny on the opening instrumental. Sort of that stereotypical Japanese ding, 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 ding kind of music going on, which I think is really, he should have known better. But then it slips out of that and goes into some great stuff. So all in all, a great album, and I'm real happy with it. Just the beginning of some of the songs are just a little bit too, I don't know, hackneyed, shall we say. And there's a copy of the Columbia label in stereo. So it's a great album, though, except for that a little bits that sort of annoyed me. So I guess the book is in there. They also send with the Vinyl Me Please, they send you a little booklet. I don't know if people have gotten these yet. And inside the booklet is an essay all about the album. No pictures, but specifically done for that record. They talk about the record, the making of it, etc. So it's sort of fun to have. I've been real pleased with the Vinyl Me Please records I've been getting. I've been a subscriber just about a year now. January will be 1 year. And I've been overall very, very pleased. Good stuff there. So happy to have that. The next ones are ones I picked up record stores, record shows, Goodwill. I don't even remember half of them. First one up is Meditations by Coleman Hawkins on Mainstream Records. Not one of the greater labels for quality, but it's not bad. It's Coleman Hawkins. It's a old represses, I'm pretty sure, of his stuff. But Coleman Hawkins, Roy Eldridge, Benny Carter. How about Cootie Williams on one side, Art Tatum plays piano on one side, Oscar Pettiford on bass. So compilations, but great, you know, the Hawk. Next one, I know I bought this at a record show, paid more than I should, but I don't care because I love it. It's Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. This is called Straight Ahead. This is from '81 and features a very young Wynton Marsalis on trumpet. I think he was 21 or 22 at the time. So enjoyed this one a lot. Like I said, I overpaid, but I don't care because I really love it. So in the long run, what's a couple of bucks? Picked this one up at Goodwill the other day. I know of the artist, but I haven't really heard him a lot. And that's Jay McShane. I knew he was a piano player and a singer, but really wasn't aware of him. So happy I got this. This is so great. It's right up my alley. It's bluesy jazz or jazzy blues, and it's just great. He plays on it, obviously, along with Herbie Mann, Jerry Mulligan, John Schofield, who I actually saw last month here in Portland. This was in 78, this record was recorded, 1978. John Schofield's my age, about 70 years old, and he can play the guitar like nobody's business. It was a great show. I don't know that much about guitars and electronics, etc., but he did a thing when he was playing where he would get the melody going on the guitar and repeat it 2 or 3 times, and then he hit some sort of button and it kept repeating, and then he would play the fills over that. So that was pretty cool, and it was, I guess, a less expensive way to travel around the country without having an extra musician with you. So he played and he kept layering things up on a guitar. It was pretty cool. So he played on this. He was in his 20s when he played on this. And I just really enjoyed the hell out of it. Does Georgia on My Mind, Ain't Misbehavin', a couple of a couple of straight instrumentals with Jump in the Blues and Blue Feeling. Really pleased, very happy to have this. Didn't expect much. Didn't pay much for it at all. Paid like $1.50, and it's on Atlantic, and in really super good condition. So I was happy to have that. Also at Goodwill the other day, I found this, and it's Bunny Berrigan, 1930s. This is I Can't Get Started, and I guess I Can't Get Started was 1937. These are all original recordings done into mono, which is nice. They didn't try to stereoize it up. I Can't Get Started song he sings and plays trumpet on, or cornet, I guess, is like the epitome of the 1930s, 1920s jazz song. Just great. And his other stuff on here is fantastic. Peg on My Heart, I Cried for You, Ain't She Sweet, Can't Help Loving That Man. Just a great album with Bunny Berrigan, another one of those guys who drank himself to death young. I think it was like in his 30s. Another tortured soul, but a great cornet player, really up there. Next one I picked up, I am not a big free jazz fan, as you might have gathered, since I've never shown any free jazz, or I've never really shown much. I'll go to it, I sort of like seeing it live, but on LP or on vinyl record, I'm just not into it. However, I picked up this, Ornette, and this is basically a alternative takes of his album Science Fiction. Came out in 1971. So these mostly are alternative takes of the same songs on Science Fiction, with a couple of songs added at the end, which unfortunately has a male singer who I won't name because he is dreadful. But be that as it may, the rest of the album, with Ornette Coleman, Dewey Redman, Don Cherry, Charlie Hayden, etc., is just, it's great. The more I listen to it, the more I enjoy it, the more I'm getting into the free jazz. And this is not, I guess for some people it's very, very out there, but I don't find it out there that much. I find it really riveting. And there's Ornette. So yeah, Ornette Coleman. And this is called Broken Shadows. Next one is a very traditional jazz, shall we say. But again, I like all sorts of jazz. So this was really good. Bob Wilber and the Scott Hamilton Quartet. I think it's in the 1977. And it's very traditional. Almost, some of the songs are almost Dixieland type jazz, which is fine with me. Bob Wilber plays the alto, soprano sax, and clarinet. Scott Hamilton plays tenor sax. And there's guitar, bass, and drums. Great little album. Sort of fun. I enjoyed it. Then we were in New York last weekend, and I had time, so I stopped at the Jazz Record Center on West 26th Street. It was a cold day in New York, and he had that place. It was so hot. I took off my coat. I was ready to take off my shirt. It was so hot in there. It was crazy. I ended up buying 3 albums. He has good stuff, but he also has a lot of new stuff, a lot of represses, and I can get that sort of anywhere. So why do I wouldn't want to buy that there. I want to buy stuff I can't get elsewhere. First thing I saw, which I grabbed, Art Pepper, and this is On Pacific. It's a Japanese pressing with the nice little obi strip there. Side 1 is the Art Pepper 9. And side 2 is Art Pepper with the Chet Baker Sextet. So that says it all right there. Half the album is with Chet Baker and half is with his group. And I love this album. I love Art Pepper. I love his tone. He's a great player, and enjoyed the hell out of that. So that was a good little goodbye. I was happy to get that. There's a picture of Art. And this was on, can't remember what label. Oh, Pacific Jazz, yeah, the black Pacific Jazz with the silver lettering. So again, this is like something I can't find around here. The new stuff, it seems I can always find it. The next one is another album, another man who, again, I knew of but didn't really know that much about, is Fats Navarro. And this is a great album, the fabulous Fats Navarro. And Sonny Rollins is on here, Bud Powell, Tommy Porter, Roy Haynes, Curly Russell, Wendell Gray, different people on different songs. Charlie Rouse is on one, 2 songs, 3 songs. So the only thing that pisses me off is that they put the label, the price sticker, right on the cover instead of putting on the plastic. All these things come in plastic sleeves, so why not put the price on the plastic sleeves? Puts it right on the cover, and peeling it off, I ripped the cover. So I'm sort of ticked off about that because it wasn't cheap. But what a great record. Oh my God. Whoop, there's the Japanese little sheet that comes with it. And then it's on Blue Note. We all know the Blue Note label. Really happy with this record. Also, this is a Japanese pressing, which is sort of nice. Another great jazz musician who died way too young. I think he was in his early 30s. Heroin again. And the last one I got also at the Jazz Record Center was Jimmy Rushing. If This Ain't the Blues. Also, as you see, another Japanese pressing. I just don't see them a lot around here, so when I see them at a fairly decent price, I'm all over it. This was good. It wasn't as great as I expected, but it was still good. Buddy Tate on tenor sax, Joe Jones on drums. Definitely liked it. If you don't know Jimmy Rushing, they used to call him Mr. 5x5 because he was 5 feet tall and 5 feet around. He's a jazz singer, a shouter, on a blues shouter kind of vein. It's good. It's definitely good, but I'll go to the other ones more often than I'll go to this. I'm still happy to have it. And this was on the Vanguard, I think. Yeah. Never saw a Vanguard Japanese label before. So that's sort of cool. So yeah, so that's what my recent purchases. All jazz. I've been buying lots of other stuff, but figured I'd do an all jazz episode. Okay, hope people are doing well out there and getting ready for the holidays. Thanksgiving's next week. And here in the United States, actually, my wife and I are getting out of the States for Thanksgiving. We're going to drive up to Quebec City and spend the weekend in Quebec City. So if I find any records up there, I'll show them to you. All right, everybody take care. Until next time, peace.